It's a bit fruity, so you never know. Hi, Michael. Michael. Nice to meet you, and welcome to the channel. This is Let's Have a Chat, or LHAC as I like to call it.
Yeah.
And usually we just do a couple of questions. They're pretty random sometimes, and just let me know if you have any follow-up questions or anything that makes you uncomfortable.
Yep.
It happens. Alright, first question is, tell me a bit about what defines you as a man, personally.
I think what defines you as a man is probably mostly your values in life, what you value, and I would also say more so what structures you stand on, what beliefs you put in your life. I think that has a big role in how it makes you become a man, as in what things you put before other things and stuff like that.
Priorities.
Definitely. I think that makes a big impact on anybody's life, not just men, but anybody, any gender, just values and structure, and how you build your life in different ways like that.
Yeah. And how do you feel you are in your journey right now? What sort of stage?
I'm 21.
Yeah.
So I'm still, getting a grasp of how life works and stuff like that. But I'd say I'm still at the stage of building a structure, still at the stage of figuring out exactly what comes before what in my life and things like that. Like, I started going to church, and started digging into that and really just trying to find something that'll hold me together structurally and keep a routine.
Yeah, routines are important.
Yeah, and I'm young, so I don't think I've got it all sorted. I don't have all the structures set out yet, but I'm definitely building towards that.
Takes time.
Yeah, trying to just find exactly how I want my life to be structured.
Absolutely.
So I'm on the journey, but yeah.
And how are you finding the journey so far?
Oh, it's interesting, man.
It's always interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, you've got to trial and error different scenarios and different things that could work in your life to get to where you actually want to be.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm just trialing and erroring. See what works well in my life and what will make me become a better man.
Absolutely. Can you tell me some of your ambitions?
Ambitions, I'd say I like to strive for anything that really sort of separates me from other people. So like for instance, playing basketball, doing different things like that I can strive for the greatest possible outcome of it. So always trying to be better in a certain sport or in a workplace, trying to get up to a higher paying job. Ambitions like that have an impact on my future and things like that. So I'm always looking for a better job opportunity. Good friends, good people to be around. That's definitely part of my ambitions.
Absolutely.
Just trying to find different things that can make me better in life. Definitely my ambitions in life.
Well, that's a good goal.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you're doing them for yourself?
Yes. I like to think I'm doing it for myself. So yeah. But maybe at the end of the day, it might attract other people in my life, which just happens along the way. So as long as you do it for yourself at the start, and still continue to do it for yourself, but other people can sort of see what you're doing and maybe join along and you meet friends along the way and stuff like that. So
that's it. Yeah. Well, there's a bit of an epidemic, of course, these days with Well, friendships, really. I know that it used to be, of course, being younger, being a kid, you just whoever you hang around with ends up being a bit of a friend. But in adult life, it's quite difficult to have a friend. Or just someone consistent.
100%, man. I've met a lot of people that have come and gone, just different ambitions in life that it doesn't really stick because they're just doing different things, and you're steady on doing what you want to do, so it just doesn't really click, and you don't end up talking a lot, and it just slowly falls off. So I guess it's just you hang around the people that are sort of like you, sort of have the same structures in life, or trying to build structures, trying to let go of bad old habits. And so I reckon just you meet people that you sort of share different goals and different things that you want to achieve in life. And I reckon that's what helps keep a friend, because you're both striving for the same sort of things.
It's definitely important from goals.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
Stuff that you can relate, and you're doing the same stuff in life, so you tend to want to be around each other because you're always striving for different things, but you're still striving for something. You're not just sitting around staying in the same position that you've always been in.
Yeah.
So I reckon, the goals and what you want in life definitely have an impact on who might stay and who might go.
Oh yeah, no, I'd have to wholeheartedly agree with that.
Yeah.
That's I've definitely had some friends from the past and things like that. And it sounds a bit selfish sometimes, but you ask yourself and you tell yourself, well, I put in a lot of effort. I didn't seem to do anything. Should I put more effort in? Have I done something wrong? Was there something like that? Would I have done something different, or is it just simply all them? And yeah, I mean, sometimes it's hard not to be selfish, just to think, well, it's not me, it's you, but hard to tell.
Yeah, it definitely plays a toll too, because you like to think of different scenarios in your head of why it could have gone wrong. And I mean, I got to a point where I was sort of just like, I don't think it was any of our faults. I just think that the life that we're living and the things that we're doing just doesn't match. So it wouldn't make sense. It's not that it wouldn't make sense, but like life, you tend to meet with people that are doing the same things. If you meet with that person, you're doing those sort of things in life that aren't what you actually want to be doing, and you start changing, then you sort of stop meeting with that person because you're not doing the same things. Let's go to the basketball court. Oh, I'm not playing basketball anymore. Like, I'm doing other things. I'm hanging with friends, partying. You sort of just aren't at the same place at the same time anymore.
Oh, absolutely. And sometimes it's hard to hold on to your own identity. You've got certain people that just want to sort of spew out and project this identity of theirs onto you, and you lose your own.
Yep, definitely. That's why it's got to be a give and take friendship or relationship, or it's both got to be a bit of both. You can't be a selfish sort of person with it.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to share, and sometimes they want to hear.
That's it.
Yeah, so
sometimes a great skill is not always to talk, but to listen.
Listening is a lot of problem of today's society. A lot of people think that they don't have to listen anymore. They think that they know everything, and
that's it.
Only their experiences really matter, and they don't really want more insight because they sort of just think that they know how life goes and they've been through every situation that's possible. Those sort of people are hard to hang around.
Absolutely.
You feel a bit drained energy-wise. You're just always constantly listening to someone that always thinks that they've been through the most, they know everything. It's not a good friendship. It's a bit you just get home and you're just like, oh man, I just want to call somebody and actually just talk, where it goes back and forth, not just I'm sitting there just listening.
It's almost like you feel worse after you hung out with that friend, as opposed to friendship being a bringing up or helping out. And sure, there's definitely times when you got to be the rock or they got to be the rock. But if you're always the rock, these constant drips of water, you're just going to wear away, I think.
Definitely.
There's only so much one person can take, no matter how strong they are.
That's right. Yeah, well, you just gotta sort of listen to your body. If you feel like, or your body, your mind, all of it together, if you're not, not feeling satisfied, but if you're not getting what you're getting out of the friendship is not what you expected out of the friendship, it's just damaging to stay around hanging with people that are acting like that. It just makes you feel less of a man, makes your voice not feel heard, and then it makes you probably hang around people that are more like that because they're used to it.
That's it.
And it keeps the cycle going and going, and it's going to be hard to break out of it.
Oh, absolutely. I think sometimes we get used to and almost accustomed to or expect the bad friendships. So we're so used to it sometimes, I think we go towards them.
Yeah.
Because it's, I don't know, maybe we think that's what we deserve sometimes.
Definitely.
A little bit of a different question, but what makes you uncomfortable?
Well, I could say on a serious note, or I could just say on a funny note, hanging with mates.
Yeah.
Sort of just like going to a friend's party, or you're hanging out with your mates, and he sort of starts talking to a girl, and you can sort of tell that like she's really not interested, and he just keeps on trying. It's just, and you're standing there watching you with him, like trying to act like
the wingman, I guess, or something. You don't even know what your role is anymore.
Just keeps talking. You're like, dude, just pick up the sides, man. She's like looking away, like, yep. It's like, man, just leave.
Anywhere but eye contact is, looking at her shoes
awkward,
almost.
man. I can't deal with it. It just keeps on talking and trying to, so what are you doing tonight? And she's just like, looking at her friends, just hanging out with friends.
Yep.
It's like, dude, man, please do something. Do yourself a favor.
Politely leave. I mean, maybe you can approach the conversation at a different time in the day, or just completely different. Yeah,
Seriously.
week of the year.
Yeah, I've dealt with that too many times.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, I can relate to that. Definitely seen that. Sometimes I won't lie, that has been me.
Yeah.
But I'd like to think I've learned from that. Yep. And now that you put it into context and words, it is embarrassing.
Yeah, I've done it before.
I guess sometimes it's a good question to ask the person that's doing it. Maybe they're embarrassed too. They're just trying to hide it.
You reckon?
Maybe. Thinking back personally, it was a little bit embarrassing doing it myself. Not gonna lie.
True. I don't know, I wouldn't be able to endure that embarrassment. Once I feel it, I'm just like, alright, nice talking to you. Like, yeah. You can tell if it's more real. They're actually paying attention.
Yeah,
They're
they want you to try harder maybe, or,
yeah.
or something
You can
like
tell.
that.
It's not just blatantly like trying to shrug you off or stuff like that.
So do you think first impressions are really important?
I would say to the right person, no.
What do you mean?
So, if it's someone that's a really good person and they don't judge you off first impressions, and they just see that you're a good type of person, and I think it depends the person. If you don't give off a very good first impression, like awkwardness, shyness wise, a good person I don't think would judge you and make up an identity in their head off the first interaction where you're not fully like, what's the word? Like, not fully yourself because it's the first time meeting that person. Like, you're not out of your shell because you haven't talked to that person before and you're still sort of getting to know them. I think a good person wouldn't judge you off of a first impression, especially if you're not like I'm not saying like people that are being like an arsehole on their first impression, like,
Of course.
that's different. But if it's like shyness and awkwardness, I don't think the right person would judge you off of that if it's the first time you guys have met and stuff like that. I mean, some people would,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't say that a good person would do that.
Not fair.
Yeah, no, definitely not, because some people, different experiences, and they probably had some trauma in their life where they can't open up and be themselves straight away. So
Oh, absolutely.
yeah, just a different person. But yeah, I think a good person wouldn't judge you off of a first impression, especially if it's just because you haven't got to know them. It's not like you're being an asshole or anything like that.
Yeah, yeah, no, I'd have to agree with that, definitely. Yeah. We, I think, live in a time where first impression is quite hard to avoid, especially with a lot of media that we have, access, mobile phones, TV, things like that. Within the first couple of minutes, sometimes you think, well, I don't really want to watch that movie. Sometimes, I mean, not as common anymore, it ends up being a decent movie. But our 30-second shorts and things like that we predominantly go to,
Like
almost don't have
Instagram
time.
accounts, just looking at the photos, and
That's
then
it.
you sort of make a decision just like that.
But sometimes you don't even have the opportunity to think, oh, I don't really like that because it's so short, it's just done, 5 second, 10 second, whatever it
So
is.
you're just more interested
Yeah,
because you don't know the whole thing.
but I guess you can't even form opinions sometimes fast enough for how short they are.
True.
So you're just given this little snippet of something. Sure, I guess it helps when you know that person, you followed them and things like that.
Yeah, that's probably
But
different.
trying to put across a first impression in something really short.
Yeah. Or even if somebody could base an impression off of that, it wouldn't really be fair.
No, that's it.
I mean, you can't judge someone. You see them for 5 seconds, you can't judge them for that.
That's it.
Especially not as a whole person. Maybe looks wise, you could do that,
Yeah.
but not as a person.
And especially someone's first time doing something new. You think, well, I've never really done this before. I like the idea of it, I got an inspiration, wherever it was from. It's not going to be great, whatever it may be. The lighting might not be perfect, audio may not be perfect, but I think if it's enjoyable, if the people involved, whether it be the interviewer or the interviewee, find some enjoyment or pleasure or a good excuse to get something off their chest maybe, and I think if someone's enjoying it, then I think that's what makes it enjoyable.
That's true, man. Yeah, well, the thing with Instagram these days, you don't even really have to give them a first impression. You sort of their friends like, oh, this dude's gonna be at the pub with us or something, and she'll be like, oh, what's his Instagram? She gives it to him.
Yep.
She goes on there, judges him off of his Instagram.
Yeah.
Maybe you've already, not liked him just because of that, and then you
That's
don't
it.
even really talk properly because you think that you've made a judgment off of
Of
somebody's
a
social
photograph
media.
of how they held themselves.
Yeah.
And let's say this person had great lighting that day or was wearing his daddy's Rolex or something. Doesn't mean that's him, he's just managed to
Social media, man.
spend a little bit more time getting a decent photo as opposed to someone else that's more genuine, but just couldn't be bothered faking it in a photo, and yet they're a nicer person.
Yeah. Social media is a big. It can be good, it can be bad.
That's it. That's just like with media, smartphones. I've heard someone say to me before that smartphones are smart because the person using it doesn't have to be smart. The phone's smart. Scary stuff. I mean, absolutely you have to be capable of navigating the phone, of course, but we're drip-fed information.
Well, that's the issue. So
Yeah.
little things like that
Consistently.
do make sense, and it sort of just makes you question it. I mean, I'd
Yeah.
question it too if I heard that.
Yeah, that's it.
Smartphone, that someone that's not that smart makes him look like he is because he's got the smartphone.
That's it. It's but I guess the playing field is now quite flat because everyone and the dog has their smartphone, so it doesn't really make as many people stand out, except those that maybe know how to use it or know how to listen to the good stuff. But sometimes I've found that the people that do stand out a little bit more are trying to be a little bit more savvy, more witty, whatever it may be, the people that aren't just don't seem to like that person in the room. Yeah. Well, we have a closing tradition. For the last question, you ask me a question.
Okay.
Sorry, putting you on the spot.
No, that's fine. I was thinking about this when you were talking about phones. So like Adam and Eve, and how was it Eve that bit the apple?
Yes.
So Eve bit the apple. What would you say about? So we're in different times now, yeah.
Yeah.
So what would you say about Apple, us, the Apple product,
Yes.
us using the Apple
And
product?
I have heard this one.
And it's sort of like the same sort of thing, but a different. Like the iPhone product is the bad thing that we are.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just thought about it with the smartphone, so I was just
No, that's
wondering,
fair
what's
enough.
your thoughts? Do you
Well,
agree with
Yeah.
the terminology, or do you have any insights of?
Well, I'll try to eliminate the irony from the room immediately. We are filming this on a smartphone that is an Apple, so please don't be haters.
Probably
I'll identify that immediately. That is the case. I have been an Android guy for a very long time. I guess the fact that the one Apple iPhone that I bought more recently was on special, so I bought that. That was predominantly the main reason, just wanted something cheap. I think it's an interesting choice of fruit to definitely use, and the fact that there is a bite out of it. I've heard some thing about a gigabyte bite having something to do with the bite out of the apple. BYTE, I believe. I've heard something about that. I haven't checked it personally.
Interesting.
So there's
I didn't
that.
think about that.
But yeah, I mean, sure, if we can compare it to Adam and Eve, the bite out of the apple, does that mean like more that Eve is mobile and we're Adam? Or they're both connected? Or because I guess it's the apple and she's taking the bite, but yet are we Adam? We're picking up the apple, so we're still kind of complicit.
What if like the apple is like the enemy, the bad thing, and we're all just taking a bite out of the apple?
All taking a bite out of the apple.
Yeah. So not necessarily the girl is the apple.
Yep.
The apple is an own evil thing by
Its
itself.
own thing. The tree, like
Yeah.
the tree of knowledge of good and evil. And that does make you think also because in the Old Testament, the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, which was what the apple was from, you could argue in a certain sense that a phone can be used for serious good and serious evil and help you gain knowledge of good and evil. So you can see in that context as well.
It can be used, like the apple can be used to just look at it and look at its beauties, and
that's it.
or if you take the bite and use to do serious.
That's from the Old Testament. It was you eat of this apple, you will be like God. You will know what God knows. And the thing they didn't realize is what they now would know is they would know sin. They would know disobedience from taking that.
So that was
because
pure.
It was the one thing to not do.
They were completely pure before they
Completely pure.
didn't know anything about
Untainted.
evil or anything like that. That wasn't even in their minds.
That's it. But the moment
They gave us all a choice.
gave us that choice. Yeah. Well, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you, man.
Interesting. Had a good time.
Yeah.
And I hope to see you on the channel again.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you. And this episode is sponsored by New Beer, new product, homemade, that we're enjoying at the moment. More to follow with hopefully links in the description as it becomes more of a startup as opposed to an early days. Thank you very much for watching.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.